The psychedelic revolution is here. If you want to integrate your visionary experiences into your purpose, get clear on your entrepreneurial path, and help people while you do what you love, then this podcast is for you. Welcome to The Psychedelic Entrepreneur, Medicine for These Times. I'm your host, Beth Weinstein. I'm a spiritual business coach, 3-time entrepreneur, and a lifelong student of psychedelics and sacred plant medicines. You carry your own unique medicine, and your medicine is what we need for these times. This podcast will help you to share your medicine so you can create transformation in the world. Listen in on conversations with psychedelic leaders, changemakers, and conscious entrepreneurs who are living proof that a better world is possible when you follow your heart and live in alignment with your soul. Hello there, welcome back to Medicine for These Times. Today I'm going to talk about one aspect of align abundance. How do you create abundance and movement in your business or in your life when you're feeling really down or stuck or in a slump? So last week I delivered a new workshop called Align Abundance, Release Your Money Wounds and Create More Abundance with Integrity and Authenticity. This was the first time that I had ever delivered this or created this or done a workshop like this. I had been teaching abundance and helping clients with money blocks and abundance issues since day one as a business coach, but I had never really come out in the public and delivered this kind of a workshop before. And, I did it just for fun. I did it because it was coming through me. I was really inspired and I had the space and the time to do it, so I just did it for the hell of it. And I charged money for it. It was very low. You can actually still purchase this and get all the recordings and the PDF that comes along with it for anywhere between $11.11, 1111, and up, with the suggested being a measly $33.33. As in $33. So what came up during this and what has come up with a lot of my clients over the years is how do you maintain and create abundance and flow in your business, in your life, when you're just feeling down? And I will start by saying that we cannot always feel up. Sometimes we do get stuck. Sometimes we go through ruts, or sometimes we are just in, like today it was really rainy out where I live. And it was like one of those days where I'm like, this is like just hard to be inspired. Although I'd actually rather be inside working when it's raining and outside playing while it's sunny out. But there are just days and energies in our lives, in the world, where we just can't focus or we feel like we're in a slump. And sometimes this lasts more than a day. Sometimes it lasts for days or even weeks. Usually, if it ends up being more than a few weeks or turns into months with my clients, then we start to do some deeper digging into figuring out what's really going on. But sometimes people really are just in a slump for a few months, or they're going through a process of change, growth, transformation, and maybe what they used to do is not really feeling aligned anymore, or it's just not working, or it's not getting them excited. So very often people will just freeze, or they'll fall off, or just not do anything, or they'll just pretend like they're doing something and spend time doing I don't know what. I mean, that's one of the things I ask my clients. It's like, well, if you're not working with clients, or you're in a slump, or there's just nothing coming in, what is it that you are doing? Where is your time going Monday through Thursday from morning till, afternoon or evening? And the number one suggestion for that is start by logging your time. Just keep a time diary. What did you do that day for the entire day? And this is without judgment or shame. Just write down how you've spent your day every day for at least 30 or 40 days and just observe. But, it was an interesting experiment to do this workshop purely out of joy and fun and experimentation and with zero expectation. Honestly, I didn't even think people would sign up for it. I didn't know if people would want to pay. I usually do a lot of free workshops. Sometimes I do paid ones, but this is one of my first paid online workshops in the new year, and then we're in August. So I just wasn't sure. But you know what? I wanted to do it for me and for fun. And for, if only 3 people sign up, I would still deliver it as if I was doing a TED Talk. So what I learned, and this is something I've learned many years ago, but what I've learned is when I'm feeling the most kind of stagnant, or like I can feel things changing in myself and my business, and I am deepening into new modalities that I've been studying. I mean, they're not new. They're things I've been studying for years, but deepening into these ways of helping my clients with transformation. It's like I can feel things changing and maybe new things emerging. And when I feel new things emerging, instead of staying stuck, I just get experimental. And this is what I really encourage you to do is when you are feeling the most stagnant, stuck, uninspired, unmotivated, and unenthused, just do something. I had a live coaching session I did yesterday, actually, for this podcast with someone who I know does great work out there, but is also feeling that kind of, that like weird energy, especially after a lot of changes, moving or changing around your business or losing clients, whatever it is. Like sometimes people just get down on themselves or get stuck or feel unmotivated, and then they can't concentrate or focus. And that's totally okay. And that's normal. Allow yourself the space to just go through that if you can. But if it's been a while and you're starting to notice like, wow, I could really use some clients, or it's time to, do something in my business, but I don't know what, just do anything. Like the one thing I suggest is show up and serve. What is it that would be fun for you to deliver out there to your audience or your potential clients? What would be exciting to you? What would get you feeling motivated and enthusiastic? I'll be honest, when I did this new workshop, I was really excited to do it, but I was kind of dreading having to make like new slides and write out the whole, like everything that was in my head, like get it down onto, into paper. But the good news is, because I was like, wow, I could just show up for this workshop on Zoom and channel this whole entire thing for a few hours without writing anything down. I could have easily done that, but it would have not been a very clear delivery for those of you who attended, which, by the way, it ended up being about 80 people who signed up, which is great. For a paid workshop, 80 people, didn't expect anything from it. Cool. It's just fun. So, it was a good opportunity to spend some new energy going into something that was like challenging and exciting and interesting and also playful and experimentational. Is that a word? And just not being attached to the results. Because as I said to this person I was coaching yesterday, unless you have other situations, I mean, I never know what's going on in anyone's lives, but if your options are sit and do nothing and create nothing and receive nothing and have nothing coming in, like there's zero energy out, and so zero energy is coming back in. So that's option one. The other option is to give it some energy. That's it. Just output of energy without any expectations, and just get curious and just play and just get childlike and see what happens. And what happens is there's energy that starts to come back in. So usually when my clients get stuck, it's like, well, here's the thing, depending on their situation, it really usually comes down to these two choices. You can stay stuck and do absolutely nothing, or you can just go have fun and go on a surrender experiment and just show up and do something. If there's something that's been coming through you and it's new for you, but you're really scared, here's where it comes down to the two choices. You could do nothing with it and just let it bother you and like let it keep coming through you and let it, maybe like fester for, I went through this before when I was coming out around psychedelics. It festered in me for it was like 2 years, maybe over 2 years. I had it kept coming through and I just didn't think it was possible. But had I known back then, like, well, what if I just experimented? So when I was finally ready, after being so scared and so stuck, I actually decided not to experiment, and I just went all in, like, to the point. I remember when I made this decision, I was like, if I'm going to do this, it's all or nothing. Like, I want to like face my biggest fear, and I'm going to make this, like, give it 1,000% and give it my all without any expectation. I could have like tiptoed around it, and I did for a little while during those 2 years. I was telling some people and tiptoeing around it and planting some seeds and kind of, seeing if I survived, because, the deep fear leads back to like our safety, our survival. Am I going to have my friends and community and loved ones there for me if I come out and talk about this? So I felt safe enough to just go for it. And, me being the kind of person I am, it's like, are you going to go to an ayahuasca ceremony for the first time and drink like a tiny little drop just to see if you like it or not? Or are you going to go have a full experience and like go in, go in with the full intention of like, well, let me get a full experience and then see if I like it, But the thing is, if you just take like a drop, and there's nothing wrong with that, by the way, I sometimes take a drop, but if you take a drop and you only have this kind of like subtle experience, then you never really know if you like it or if you don't. It's kind of like, okay, so I tasted it and I don't know, it was a little so I'm just going to walk away from it. And it's the same thing when it comes to your life's work and your soul's purpose and whatever's channeling through you. It's like, yes, you can kind of tiptoe around and, test the waters a little bit, and that's great. But when you really feel like, you know what, like this is living inside of me, I need to get this out there in the world for me, like for yourself, start with yourself first. Selfishly do it for you. The other year I created a community group where I live, and I purely did it. I mean, yeah, I knew eventually it would help the community, but I created it for me. And I remember I was like, you know what? I'm going to create this, and if it works, great. If it doesn't work, I'm moving away from this place. And guess what? It works so well that now we are completely maxed out, and I have total strangers telling me all the time that I'm, like, I'm so glad you started that because it's been so great. And oh my God, thank you so much. And I always tell them, look, I started it for me as a purely selfish act for something that I wanted to see. And I wanted to see it work, and it did, so it's like, go start something and put something out there in the world for you and your soul, and really like your conversation with whatever you believe in. But I believe it's this connection to the higher power, to source, to earth. Like, do it for, you, for spirit, for earth, and that's it. And see what happens, like. The worst case scenario, this is always the worst case scenario. Because I know when I came out with my first psychedelic summit, I had it purely in my mind that maybe like 40 people would like it. I was like, well, 50 people sign up, it's cool. That'll be fine. Maybe a couple hundred people would like it. And lo and behold, it became like thousands and thousands and thousands of people and more over years, year after year after year. So at the very minimum, the worst case scenario, if you put something out there, is like, okay, maybe not a lot of people come. Doesn't mean that they don't want it out there. It just means like, it could mean 1,000 things. It could mean maybe people genuinely couldn't make it at that time. It could mean that it's August and maybe people are just busy. It could mean that you didn't reach the right group of people to promote it to. It could mean that maybe they want to go the next time you offer it. So don't let anything, quote, failed. And I always put failed in quotes because nothing is a failure. It's all experimentation. If you host a workshop or start a new program or announce to the world that you're now offering psychedelic integration coaching or whatever it is you do, don't give up if your response or the response is not as big as you expected it to. It takes a while to see if it's really working, and you will know when it's working, when it's not. But, do it for you, do it for fun and experimentation, but also don't give up. sometimes these things take some time. Honestly, I'm very grateful that 80 people signed up for this offering, this Align Abundance workshop, which, by the way, you can still buy. And out of whatever I have in my audience, I don't know, like 25, 30,000 people, like, I don't know, could have actually been more, but it just means it's the first time, and I will offer something maybe kind of like it again, or maybe there will be a whole program around Align Abundance, or who knows? I don't even know myself. But the one thing I will suggest, and I suggest this all the time to my clients, is do something to get the energy moving, and just have a conversation with your soul that's like, hey, soul, if this is coming through you and I'm meant to be doing this out there, I'm meant to be sharing this work out there in the world, then, support me as I put it out there. Like, just ask for guidance, ask for support. And maybe that support will come in a very small amount, or maybe it'll come in a big amount. But, don't give up on yourself just because, 3 people showed up and you really wanted 30. It doesn't mean that the other 7.999 people on this planet don't want it. But just do something, because the other option of staying stuck and doing absolutely nothing and then beating yourself up because you did nothing and falling into a shame spiral is just a waste of your time and energy. And it's genuinely not serving you, and it's not serving anyone else. So I say this with lots of love. I hope it's been helpful. I say this because I hear this all the time from people who are constantly saying that they feel stuck, or they're in a rut, or they're spinning in circles. Well, it's like, if you're spinning in a circle, what is the way out? You have to jump out of the circle. But in the end, a lot of the stuckness is a choice. And very often there's something hiding way beneath that stuckness. It's like, what's really in the way? And a lot of times it is not conscious. It's not aware, you're not even aware of it. And this is where getting some support to do the deeper work, to tap into what might be in the way and what might be stopping you from going after your dreams, or having the abundance you want, or having the life and business you want. That's where having support to help you through that, to uncover these deeper layers, will move you into a better place. And this is something I offer in my coaching, of course, in private coaching, through my programs, my groups, and my online courses as well. And if you're interested in doing some deeper work into figuring out what's keeping you stuck and in the patterns that you want to start breaking, reach out to me and let's talk. You know where to find me. I'm at bethaweinstein.com. And just a reminder, Align Abundance will be for sale. I don't know for how long, but I'm just going to leave it up because so many people gave some great feedback. And I do want to say this, the Align Abundance workshop that I'm selling has many actions that you can go take to create abundance in your life. This is not just a bunch of spiritual fluff. It's embodied actions that will start to move the energy to call in, first of all, feeling more abundant, being more abundant, and seeing things from a different perspective and a different mindset, so that you feel better, you're operating at a higher, more abundant level, and then abundance just starts coming in. So that is offered at a very extremely low cost of pay what you wish. And let me know what you think. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll be back next week. If you enjoyed this or any episode, I would greatly appreciate a review. Lots of love. I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you're feeling inspired, I'd appreciate it if you showed your love with a review. And check out my YouTube channel where you can find the video version of this podcast. You can also head to bethaweinstein.com to learn more about me and grab my free business growth trainings. Remember, you carry your own unique medicine, and your medicine is what we need for these times.